from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You know, before there was Swifties, there was Guildies. And actually, before there was Guildies, there was probably there probably were people, I don't know if there were fandom back in the day, and then there would have been Wildies. When did fandom start getting named like cute? And I'm not saying this in a derogatory way, cutesy names, because they are cute. But Guildies could also be a term you use to I guess if you're a Swiftie, you say I'm a Swiftie, right? To another Swiftie. If you're a Guildie, but you could be in the same guild or a fan of the guild. That's what I was referring to. But then before there was fans of the guild, even though the spelling's different, Gilda Radner's fans could have been Guildies, or they could have been Radneries. Guildies is better for sure. And then Genies, but Wildies, either one works for Gene Wilder. Richie's, Priors is. Anyway, if you're confused, you're in the right place. This is Sleep With Me. Believe it or not, it's a podcast to put you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story eventually, though tonight our bedtime story will be based on some episodes from season 1 of The Guild. And maybe give you a chance to discover something new or bring you back to the heyday of the aughts, maybe? I don't even know. But it's time for Sleep With Me. Yeah, this is a podcast that's here to keep you company and take your mind off of stuff so you can fall asleep. But the show's very different. I mean, clearly, right? You might some of you might not know who Gilda Radner is, or Richard Pryor, or Gene Wilder, and that's fine too. Or the Guild, the web series. There's other Guild, obviously, or but you may be confused. You say, why do you have to over-explain everything? Well, part of my job. But just to see how it goes, most regular listeners, people that even call themselves super fans, did not like this show when they first got here because it was different than what they expected. And that's totally understandable. So just see how it goes. You got nothing to lose. I really am here to help you. I have a website set up, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. If you already know the show's not for you, but just see how it goes if you can. What we got coming up, support, so paying for the show is optional. Long meandering intro meant to ease you into bedtime. And then eventually later on, we'll be talking about the Guild season 1. I don't know if we'll get through every episode or not. And believe it or not, the Guild has a very strong connection to this podcast as far as influencing me to do the work that would become the podcast. So I got a lot to thank the Guild for. So, yeah, here we go. It's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. And these sponsors are how we're able to do it for free twice a week. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots here, and I'm getting this messaging out. We've changed up some of the structure of the show. We're looking at other changes. So if Sleep With Me is an essential part of your bedtime, an important part of your bedtime, it does something unique for you. When you found the show, you said, wow, this isn't like anything else. This is what I was looking for, that it's not, if Sleep With Me is something, you could walk away from the podcast tomorrow. You could replace it tomorrow. If we stop making it, you wouldn't blink an eye. Don't worry about this message. I'm not kidding either. But if you would blink an eye, or it would impact you, please let me know what is essential about Sleep With Me for you. And the best way to do that, obviously, is to support the show directly. I'll send you a video when you sign up, and you can reply to that video and let me know, hey, these are the essential things I find about Sleep With Me. Because I don't want to assume as we're looking at it, and to be honest, if enough people think the show's essential, we don't even have to worry about making any more changes. It's just, we got enough listeners. So if it's essential to you, it's essential you take action. But if you can't afford to support the show, let me know what's essential to you. Use our contact form on our website. Send me a message or sign up for a free trial with Sleep With Me Plus and let me know whatever works best for you. But yeah, that's what we're looking to do right now. Oh, Mystery Bard. A lot of people help out in the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes too. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support your scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Hannah like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. Couldn't do it without all you, everybody that works on this podcast. And don't forget to support the Trevor Project. The Orlando Park Stop fundraiser is what we're a part of. They have amazing art up, but you can also support the Trevor Project directly. Use the links in our show notes. And thank you so much for being a listener. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble, getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. It could be thoughts, something on your mind you're thinking about. Thoughts, things you're thinking about, things you're thinking about, thoughts that are trying to get your attention. It could be feelings related to those thoughts about the past, the present, the future. Could be physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine, travel. You could be going through something. You could be getting over something. Whatever it is that's keeping you awake, I'm glad you're here. And I'm here to help you fall asleep because, what I'm going to do, or wait, I got lost of what I was saying. Oh, yeah, whatever's keeping you awake, I'm here to take your mind off of it and keep you company so you could fall asleep. I'm here to be your bore friend. I'll talk about that more, your bore sib, your bore bay. I'm a little bit off, I guess. I mean, at all times, but particularly right now. But I can't, this is just like sleep. You say, well, I can't quite put my finger on why. But it's good that we all have the freedom to be a little bit off here at Sleep With Me. So, like here's a couple things right off the bat. You deserve a good night's sleep. That's why I make the show. You deserve a bedtime where you can get the rest you need. So your life is better. So your life is more manageable. And ideally, you start getting the sleep you need on a regular basis. You can be out there flourishing. That means your world's a better place to be in. And that is important to me and everyone else out there in the world. It means our world is a better place to be in if your world's a better place to be in. And I'll tell you what, this might sound trite, but it's not. You living your life more fully is important to everyone, and it's important. We need you out there or wherever you are. You might say, well, I'm in here right now, Scoots, in bed. Okay, yeah, I see that. I mean, I don't see it actually, but I understand. The other thing is, as important it is that you get a good night's sleep, you deserve a good night's sleep, even if you loathe the podcast. That's why I have sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you set up. The other thing that's important is that you're not alone in the deep, dark night. That's what the show is really all about. There's a community behind the show. And believe it or not, we've done polls and I've talked to people, and the majority of people would rather be a passive part of the community around this podcast. Some people just prefer to listen, or they're, active in the sense they support the show directly, but they say, well, I don't know if I need to be a part of the active community around the show. I'll just support the podcast. And that makes me feel really good, but I don't need to interact. And then there's people that do interact around the show, and those are all fine because we're all part of this community and a broader community of just people who have trouble getting to sleep or getting the sleep we need Or maybe you're just a temporary visitor. You know, you're going through something, you're dealing with something, and maybe this show could help. But the reason I kind of list earlier some of the stuff that might be keeping you awake, thoughts, feelings, physical sensations, work, or, you know, going through stuff, going somewhere, having visitors, working a different shift, life events, as they call them, is so you don't feel alone. So you know you're not alone. Like, even if I can't relate to how it feels for you in the deep, dark night, but I mean, I might be able to relate to one or two of the feelings, but even if I can't, or even if I've never been through something even close to what you're going through, there is someone listening who's gone through something pretty close or pretty similar, and they do understand how you feel. They do relate to how you feel. And I can tell you right now, some of those people are sitting up in bed for, you know, before they nod off and nodding their heads and caring and sending comfort across the deep, dark night. That's really what works about this show, is that's just a fact. There's other people out there, that you don't know, but that have this warm place in their heart for you, because their heart, or whatever, however you want to refer it or contextualize it, hurts for you because it's hurt in the same way in the past, or feels for you. So that's important. That's the softest space that this show rests upon. And the reason it rests upon is because it's a pretty goofy and silly show for the most part. But with inside, you know, we have like a marshmallow. I guess like that's like if there was some. I guess there is something inside a marshmallow, like a fluffy marshmallow center, still has air in the middle, which is an essential ingredient for our existence, right? I know somebody's, technically it's not air, it's, CO45HQ, not H2, not O2, which you're talking about, or H2O. I say, okay, well, either way, though. So what was my point there? I don't know, like, we're alone together is part of Sleep With Me, and together alone. And what I'll do here is I'll send my voice across the deep, dark night. I'll use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents, which means I'll go off topic. I'll get mixed up. I'll forget what I was talking about. Then I'll then I'll go back to what I was talking about. I'll recycle. I say, wait a second. What was I saying? I'll just go off to pointless meanders and superfluous tangents. I'll go on them. And get lost in them, and then repeat myself. And the deep, dark night is something, the reason I send my voice across it is because that's how it feels to me. Not all the time, but some of the time. And my voice is creaky, dulcet, which means not traditionally considered soothing. I'm more of a presence here. Like, I'm really not, like, I'm here to keep you company. Like your friend, I'm leaning in close to this microphone and trying to be here for you now in this moment to keep you company. What else do you need to know? This is a podcast you just barely listen to. Almost like background noise, like holding on to beach sand. Or like a picture just out of focus, but it's a nice picture. Like I was thinking of Rothko. You say, I don't know, this looks like something, but it's not bad. Just looking at it, it's not bad either. Not sure what it means, if it means anything or whatever. I said, well, it's not bad. So I think you know what I mean. Like, we've all had that experience, or like I say, a rave 2 or 3 miles away that's carrying on the night breeze. It's my favorite kind of rave, a rave at a distance. I happen to live near where there's outdoor concerts, but like at a far enough distance so that it's not half bad. I say, man, I'm not raving, and I'm not raving about the rave either. I'm kind of like, oh yeah, it sounds some nice low level thumping, and so there's that. What was my point in there? Oh, podcasts you don't really listen to. So that's one thing. This is also, like, believe it or not, when I started the show, it was just the idea of like, hey, why isn't there like bedtime stories for grown-ups that are a little bit sillier and goofier, not childish, but childlike, even though I guess I'm kind of childish. to keep me company, not to put me to sleep or take me on a spectacular journey or where I learn anything, but just to be like a friend, calling me on the phone, but also where I feel no pressure to fall asleep. That's what this show's about. There is no pressure to fall asleep. There's a specific reason the shows are over an hour, because I know if I was listening, if the show is 49 minutes or 58 minutes, I mean, occasionally an episode might be 58 minutes, but there'd just be something about that would, one part of me would latch onto. Say, we got to be asleep in 58 minutes. Don't worry, shows are over an hour. There's 601 ad-supported free shows ready to go for you. So plenty of material. Because there's no pressure to fall asleep. I'm here. There's people who listen on a regular basis who can't sleep at all, or who get, like, I'm here to keep them company. I'm here to the very end. And there's people who need a break during the day who listen. So I'm here, that's why I'm here. I'm here whether you're listening or not, because that's kind of my job. That's what I love. I'm here to make something that you could just barely listen to, but you could listen to it, but you don't need to listen to it. And because it's a podcast, if you felt like you did miss something, you could always listen back, but you probably won't. Or, I mean, if you spend any time in any communities around Sleep With Me, you might say, oh, I was trying to remember and I forgot it. So it was like I wanted to remember it, but then I didn't remember. And that's cool. That's perfect. That means you're like a boyfriend. So I'm just here to be your boyfriend, your borbay, your borsib, your borcuz, your borbest, your neighbor, your borber, your borby, your bors, your borbra, your bor BFF, your borbud, your friend in the deep dark night who you call and talk to and keep you company. And yeah, so that's like what I'm here to do, is keep you company so that you can fall asleep, to distract you from whatever's keeping you awake, to give you something alternative to listen to. So that's other things. What else do you need to know? When you first get here, as I said, most people don't like the show, skeptical, maybe doubtful, maybe just like, this isn't what I expected. I definitely expected more chiming and breathing and calmness. And I'd say, yeah, this is a bit different vibe than that. This is your bud. So just see how it goes. The structure of the show also throws people off. And so I'm going to run through the structure, which is just the way most people choose to listen, but there are a lot of different ways to adjust if you become a regular listener. So if you say, well, that doesn't quite work for me, that's why there's so many episodes and styles of episodes, and then other ways to listen, either through Sleep With Me Plus or through our referral program. But the show starts off with a greeting. And that is for, in most versions of the show, though the story-only version doesn't have that, where I say, friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And then I have to say something silly. And that's so you feel seen and welcomed in, and you say, okay, I might be able to check that podcast out. Or, oh, there's my bore bud again, getting ready to go off topic and be silly. I'm glad I'm here. And he's glad I'm here. So that's what the start of the show is like. Then there's sponsor support. That way, paying for the podcast is optional. If you don't want to listen to the sponsor support, you could join the referral program and get access for free to ad-free and story-only episodes, or you can, join Sleep With Me Plus. But for most people, actually, like most people that benefit from a lot of podcasts, they love the sponsors, and some people support the show and miss the sponsors. But you'll just see what your experience is. And then after the support is a long, meandering intro meant to ease you into bedtime. The intro is not part of the support. It's not anything other than me not ever getting to the point of introducing the podcast, which is familiar but different every time. So I follow the same structure of the intros. It has a loose structure, right? But it's different every single time. And that, again, goes back to why is the show over an hour? Why is every intro about 12 to 25 minutes long, but never efficient, but follows the same basic structure? Why don't you just say the same thing every time or something like that? It's because, I don't know, variety really works, in my opinion. And having something that's familiar but you never know which meander I'm going to take. Whatever part of you, if it's like with the parts of me that keep me awake, they're good at predicting stuff. They're good at pattern recognition. Whatever pattern I'm using to try to get some sleep, they'll recognize it and interrupt it. And so just having something different every time where I acknowledge those parts of us, the brain bots or whatever you want to call them, and say, hey, you're welcome here too. I'm here for you just as much as I am here for your human. So that's what the intro, why it's different every time. But the reason it's about 15 or 20 minutes long is because it's part of most listeners' bedtime routine, their wind down. So the intro is not designed to put you to sleep. It's designed to ease you into bedtime, to be a buffer from the day while you're getting ready for bed, while you're in bed getting comfortable, or you're doing some chill activity. Now, there's a small percentage of people that fall asleep really fast, and we're happy for them. There's a small percentage of people that just start the show at 20, 25, 30 minutes. If that works for you, that works for you. And then there's an equal amount of people who pay to either listen to just stories or just intros. So those kind of balance each other out, which is kind of funny. That there's people who would rather just listen to intro after intro after intro. And then there's people who would rather listen to just the stories without any intros or music or anything. But most people like this structure of the show. The intro eases you into bedtime, and then the story, you fall asleep at some point during the story. So that's what the intro does. Then there's support after the intro again. So the show can be available to anybody who wants it, optional paying for it. And then like a bedtime story. And tonight it'll be like looking at some of the episodes from the first season of The Guild. I rewatched it recently. I hadn't watched it in a long time. And it was, so we'll talk about more. It's like, if you know who Felicia Day is, maybe you're a Felicia Day fan, but you've never checked out The Guild. Or maybe not, but it's very similar in vibe to Sleep With Me. Different, because it's meant to be consumed during the day when you're wide awake, paying attention. But about a similar premise of kind of a group of friends doing their best to come together. But, nobody has to be perfect, right? And we're all doing the best we can. So I don't think that's a summary of The Guild, but it's what Sleep With Me shares some of the qualities. So anyway, what was it? Oh, that'll be the bulk of the story tonight, and then there'll be some thank yous at the end. So yeah, that's everything. That's why I make the show. That's what to expect. I'm really glad you're here. I work really hard. So do a team of people because we all yearn and strive to help you fall asleep. So thanks again for coming by. And here's a couple of ways we're able to do it for you for free twice a week. Sleep With Me is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What if comparing car insurance rates was as easy as putting on your favorite podcast? With Progressive, it is. Just visit the Progressive website to quote with all the coverages you want. You'll see Progressive's direct rate, then their tool will provide options from other companies so you can compare. All you need to do is choose the rate and coverage you like. Quote today at progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. All right, everybody. This is Scoots. We're talking about The Guild. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about why am I going to talk about The Guild. Then we'll try to cover season 1. I don't know if it'll take 1 or 2 parts. And probably at this point, I've already talked about it in other places, but why, at this point, since the writers and actors strikes, we haven't really got back. We haven't really recorded any TV recap episodes, the Great British Bake Off ones that came out. We recorded before the strike. And so currently I've just kind of been bouncing around between really old stuff, or stuff that comes up on the podcast repeatedly that's at least older. And this is just another thing that's it's It's from a little while back. It's a kind of a history, like it relates to the history of the podcast. And we'll see, you know, at some point, there's one more like looming, negotiation going on when I'm recording this. So I just don't want to start investing a lot of time and energy in recapping a TV show and then having to set it aside and then like look at, so we'll see. We'll probably get back. I mean, the show's still following the same rhythm. And much like the silent movie ones, it gives us a real chance to dive into stuff like we're to change it up, and that's really like what makes everything with Sleep With Me work is like going into a little of the journey of discovery. So first, let's talk about the Guild and what is the Guild. If you've never heard of it, we'll get into Wikipedia. They do have watchtheguild.com. But of course, Wikipedia is our source for everything. So I'm going to read from the Guild. Then I'll talk a little bit about how the Guild relates to Sleep With Me and it kind of the journey towards Sleep With Me and making things before you make something. Again, how we ended up where we are now. And then we'll start looking at season 1 of the Guild. When did I start Sleep With Me? 2013, right? Okay. So... Okay, The Guild is an American comedy web series created and written by Felicia Day, who stars as Sid Sherman, a.k.a. Codex. It premiered July 27, 2007, ran until 2013, and it revolves around the lives of a gamers online guild, the Knights of Good, who play countless hours of a MMORPG video game, referred to as The Game. The story focuses on Codex, the guild's priestess who attempts to lead a normal life after warlock Zabu, right? Zabu. Why do I want to say Zabu? But Zabu shows up. So I don't want to get too much into the plot, though. Okay, first seasons were uploaded to YouTube and the series website. Then it entered a partnership with one company, and episodes of the second through the 5th season. Wow, this is back in the day. Xbox Live, but also Zune, and then going back to the Guild website, and now available on YouTube, iTunes. And Day wanted to keep ownership of the show, so episodes moved to Day's YouTube channel, Geek and Sundry. Also available DVD and streaming on Apple TV. And in 2013, after the end of the 6th season, Day confirmed that the web series is complete. And since its release, Guild's gotten several accolades, including Streamy Awards, not Steamy Awards, and IAWTV Awards. Okay, so basically history here is that the Guild was written and created by Felicia Day, avid gamer, in between acting roles in several American TV shows and movies. After 2 years of gaming, Day decided to make something productive of her experiences and wrote a sitcom television pilot. The series was purposely kept generic to avoid any copyright things and appeal to a wider audience of MMORPG fans. But Day wanted to base it on her experience with like a popular game, WOW, and that she was really into it. And hoped to show that the stereotypical gamer living in his parents' basement is not the only kind of gamer. And then she found people to collaborate with, who would become people behind the scenes and the other performers on the show. But and then the rest of the cast was filled through auditions. They filmed the first 3 episodes in 2.5 days, and then they ran out of money. And then they did some crowdfunding. And the 4th and 5th episodes were almost solely financed by people supporting them through a payment site. And the show follows a specific format. Each episode, there's season 1 was 2007 to 2008, season 2, 2008 to 2009. Season 3, 2009. Okay, this makes a lot of sense as far as my story goes. And so, okay, so we're going to cover definitely season 1, and we'll go from there. So why, what is a guild, and how did the guild and Sleep With Me have any relation? So try to do the shortest version as I can, but so, and maybe you haven't heard part of this story before, or all of it, but, I mean, it's only going to be a partial summary. But, Sleep With Me was not the first thing I made, and I've always been a person that had these creative ideas and creative dreams. But and this is just my story, it didn't quite have, I had other stuff going on, which involves a lot of avoidance and escapism, but not escapism into creating, working on stuff. And I couldn't follow through. I didn't have much ambition. A lot of that centered around my use of alcohol. And so, I was someone who wanted to be write stuff or make a show or whatever, but I didn't have the ability to do that because of my own decisions or inability to make decisions and stuff. And at some point that slightly changed, and I said, okay, well, time is passing here, and maybe I do need to try and follow through on stuff. And I still had issues with the drinking, and but I did start to kind of follow through a little bit. And I guess this was over a couple-year process. So this probably was around 2008, I'm guessing, if that I maybe even mid-2007, but probably 2008, 2009. And so whatever, I took some writing classes at community college, mostly to meet people and to just make myself accountable. And then I started writing stuff with people from my class, outside of class, or going over other people, our own stuff. And even playing with hey, maybe we could make our own, a short film or web series or whatever with some other people. And within the people I was writing with, the guild became one point of, not for me contention, but where I was I pointed to the guild as this model of something that was doable and a scale, achievable thing, within the same scale, but that really, to me, was incredibly well done. It had, it had great characters, it had plot, it was funny, it had and it was clear that it had heart and soul. And so, I was constantly bringing up the guild, and it wasn't I was, and I also worked with someone who, I don't know if she had told me about the guild or I discovered it. She probably did. A coworker named Marta who played WOW. And so we talk about the game. I was I can't play that because I've become I wouldn't be I knew I already had one thing going on. That was, I didn't need another thing where I was escape, I was already whatever. So, and, none of that stuff ever, those were just things I did. So that project never came to fruition, but it led me to make the podcast eventually. And also the timing of my, getting sober was unrelated. Well, it was on the same timeline. That was in 2010. So this is 2008, 2009, early 2010, because late 2010 was when I started the podcast. And then a little bit after that, I'm getting sober. So the guild has always had this, important part, because I can even remember I went through the guild's, first couple episodes, and I wrote down a shot list of every shot from the first episode and probably the second episode. And I showed it in a pitch. I was hey, look at this. This is the shot. This is what it was constantly an eye rolling for the other people. Cause I was look, this is what they did on the guild. Cause when you think about making a web series, everybody has a different degree of And even the guild was probably something for us to strive for, like out of our reach anyway, which is okay. It's not like it was the first thing Felicia Day was a part of either, right? It was a culmination of everything she had done and all her collaborators had done up until that point. But whatever, like, so I was going to say, like, here's the shot list of the guild. Like, the first episode, I wrote down every shot that they probably took and, when they cut, what shots they cut together. And I don't even have any knowledge of any, like, so I don't know, like, the guild somehow led me to make Sleep With Me, and just was one of those things. Like, the other things at the time was this pre-pilot was shot for Always Sunny in Philadelphia that's out there too. And I was like, that's like these are things. And then Script Notes podcast, because on Script Notes podcast, particularly at this time, John and Craig were like, hey, like, if you're trying to make it, make something. I mean, that's the short version of it. Like, if you're trying to break in screenwriting, also be doing something else, or be writing a ton of scripts. But like, you might also have an easier path to breaking in to either TV writing or movie writing if you're making something else and that gathers attention. And then I think even one time John was like talking about, and I've talked about this in the show, but it's been a while, of like how so good they can't ignore you. I think that's the book by Cal Newport. And just the idea of that, of like, hey, just get really good at something and put it out in the world and go from there. Okay, so I hope that all makes sense. So let me get the guild fired up here. Okay, so we're going to start with episode 1, Wake Up Call. And that, again, this is like, I'm going to actually probably play the episodes on less than 1 times speed. The first episode is just under 4 minutes on YouTube on the Guild's official channel. And it opens with Codex talking to camera. Friday night, no, I don't got a job. You also see some details. I'm trying to pause it, but without it going. We see Codex's room a lot of times, which is relatable for me. But yeah, haven't been out of the house a bit. No longer working with my therapist. There's no Morlock in my living room. Sleeping on my couch. And so again, like a tease. And then I think I've talked about this in other places, like very distinct, to me at least, like theme song that now always makes me think of the Guild. And they cut to the opening, which is an animated sequence of everyone in the Guild, of each character. And it says the Guild. And then we get, I guess it's a flashback. So far we've seen a guitar and then what's it called? A violin. But Codex is on the phone with her therapist saying, "Wait a second, you're ending this. You're letting me go as a client. Can't do that." And again, thinking of the shots over the monitor and talking about the game. Time limit 1 hour, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. I'm immersed in an imaginary social environment. It's not imaginary. Then the game is going on. So there's like she's on a game. Okay, so let me explain this part, because so basically, how do I explain this? If you never played one of these games before, which I had never done. Like, I had talked to a coworker that played them, and I don't know if I could have done this because I guess and I've never done it since, though I should. And I did like pitch it once or twice, not for this game, But so these are these massive world, open world games, role playing games, and but you're playing with other real people at their computers in their homes. And you can do this with consoles too, but the role playing games are a little bit more involved and in depth. I think you can play it as an individual too, but you don't really have as much success. And the idea is, so it's most of the time it's cooperative, right? You have a guild or a party, just like if you're playing in-person RPG. But one of the main advantages of doing it on a computer is the DM in the world, at least this is my understanding, is the DM. So you don't have to have a DM either. And then you could be going against the computer or other people. And so right now they're in the middle of an action sequence in the game. Codex is their healer, but she's distracted because she's on the phone with her therapist. She's like, yeah, these are real people. Have you ever met them face to face, therapist? No, I can hear them. Oh, so you can't see their faces. And the therapist saying, you need real people. And she's like, come on, I'm in the middle of a game. Can't you call me back or whatever? Then the success, and then we see Vork is the second person we see. And he's in a work from home environment, I think, or play a game from home environment in I guess what seems like a kitchen, though he may live he has a mini fridge, a microwave, and a toaster. Then we see Tinkerballa, and she is in her childhood bedroom, it seems like, and she has a stuffed animal behind her, and she's frustrated, and she's kind of really giving Codex a hard time. She uses spicy language. And then Vork says, guild rule number 4, no finger pointing. And then we have Blades, who's like a high school, seems like, I don't know, like a high school male with an attitude. He breaks guild rule 12, which Vork says is, they doesn't say. Then they're kind of say, oh, you're the daddy figure. And then Sid, the Codex says, do we play this game too much? And everybody has their own thoughts. Blade's in like some sort of super advanced gaming chair. Then we finally meet Clara, who has a baby. And what is AFKing? AFKing must be like, I'll be back soon or something. But so she's watching her kids, kind of. She doesn't have a nanny. So again, this is all played for comedy. Remember, this is a comedy. And we see she has 3 kids. And then where's Zabu? We're going to dock him attendance points, Vork says. And he grabs some toast. But Zabu never misses a thing. He never misses anything. Does anybody know where he is? So the cool thing about this, so we're 2 minutes and 26 seconds, other than so we have a tease, from the beginning. So this is really good storytelling too. I mean, it's just incredibly efficient. So we know Codex, plays the game a lot, broke up with her therapist, doesn't leave her house. Somebody's sleeping on our couch. Then we get a visual representation, and we get to meet every character except for Zabu. Why can't I say Zabu? And see them and really get a sense of a general sense and in some sense of broad strokes of who they are. We get Vork, father figure, definitely something different about him. He's also dressed up, Clara, this mom that's not super, her attention to detail, not great. Tinkerballa, who is kind of like has a attitude, and Blades, who's like kind of like a little bit of a J to the E to the R to the K. And then they say, like, wait a second, Zabu hasn't logged on in 39 hours. Where could he be? We get a series of shots. What the heck? And how long is that? Like 2 days? Okay. Like, oh boy. Again, we get a lot of dialogue that helps us get to know the characters better. And then we Codex has to hop off, and she goes to answer her door, and someone says, "Hey, Sid Sherman, I got something for you." Now remember, so this is again we've given. There's someone at the door with flowers. I spray painted them myself. They're beautiful. Thank you. That's why I did it. And it's an awkward moment. He says, you have a nice forehead. And do I know you? Of course you do. Of course we know each other. Remember, we dealt with that Wyvern last week? You resurrected me. And then it dawns on her, Gardens of Bleaklands. And she says, wait a second. She lowers, Zabu? Yep, that's right. That's me. And I'm at your doorstep. I've doorstepped you. He also has like a bunch of stuff with him. I feel like I haven't logged on in 21 hours. Doorstepped. And that episode comes to a close. And then we get to the next episode. And, of course, it's in Spanish, the closed captions for me. Okay, so episode 2 is called Zabooed, Z-A-B-O-O''D. And again, we start with the same format, which is Codex talking to the camera. Okay, yeah, I've gotten to know Zabu online, like a coworker, though. That you see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours a day. And then she's like, wait a second, does he think we're kind of like more than friends? Well, he is delusional. And then we go to things. So it's almost like a little bit of like a premise setup for the episode too. Okay, then we have the title sequence with the music, which again, you'll probably love it if you haven't gotten used to it. And then we cut to her apartment, and Zabu's like walking around. Yeah, totally found your place. He's got like a very old-fashioned suitcase and his laptop, and she's still holding the flowers from last episode. He's like, yeah, no, I feel like I know so much about you. Pretty cool, huh? She goes, yeah, no. We see CDs behind her. And he's like, yeah, I had to take a Greyhound for a bladdered. And she's has her arms crossed. She's like, so we've never met before, huh? And this is my house. Why are you here again? And he closes his laptop. And he says, Codex, you seem sad lately. And I came here to the physical realm, to help you. But he kind of has a wrong sense of like their friendship. She goes, yeah, no, we're just, we're online anonymous, friends like that. And he says, well, let me tell you how I interpret this chat. 5:38 a.m. Are you farming? Where are you? Okay. Can I help you farm? I need some gold. I'll give you gold. It's pretty sweet of me. Well, no, don't give me any gold. Winking smile. And she's like, oh, dude, that was a keyboard error. It was supposed to be a colon, a nice impersonal colon. And he says, she goes, I didn't hit a shift for the semicolon. And he goes, oh, maybe it was a Freudian slip. Our keyboard chemistry is undeniable. a lot of this is stuff that's pretty dated. I mean, what is it, 2006? So 20, I don't know, like, what is this, 2017, 16 years old. But I think he has to use a restroom. And she goes, yeah, it's down the hall to the left. And it's interesting, too, seeing, they're really just kids. I don't know, were they in their early 20s? And so then we're back at Codex's room. We see kind of that it's like a lot of laundry on the bed. She's back to the group. Hey, I found Zabu. Yay. And that's the end of that episode. Okay, then we go to episode 3, the macro problem. Can't remember, macro problem. Interesting. Okay, so we start the same thing. Okay, well, I don't cope well with anything. I mean, there's always a lot of stuff going on in the game. But, you know, at the end of the night, you could just log off the game. But you can't, as the IRL, you can't really, it's just like, I'm just trying to deal with stuff, you know. It's very relatable, I guess. I mean, at least someone like me. Okay, then we have the opening sequence again. And we see all the characters. We zoom out, the guild. Okay, then we go back to the room. Codex is saying, hey, everybody, it's still the same day. I found Zabu, yay. And Clara says, okay, where is he? And in my bathroom, I think sitting down. Oh, dear. Was he visiting you? Tinkerbell gives her a hard time. Then Zabu comes in the room. Hey, I'm at Codex's. We're going to network our computers together. Networked. And how romantic. Good to have you here, Zabu. But something just happened in the guild. Blades, tell him what happened. Yeah, it's like a LOL situation. We got a 24-hour ban. What do you mean you got a ban, Blaze? Like a Blaze is a troll. He made a macro, offensive macro. So this is again trying to like go back and forth between the different generations too. And Vork's like, our guild had an untarnished reputation, the Knights of Good, related to all things good, not trolling. And as founding member, how are you going to rectify this, Blades? And Blades doesn't answer. He logged off probably. And let's get back to work. And guild business is sidetracked. Works like, this is serious. And we see Zabu has a Photoshop picture of him and Codex. And then Codex hops on, hey, can we meet him in person about this to talk about it? So again, call back to the first episode. Everyone's like, what? Like in person in the real world? Vork thinks about it, says in person twice. I mean, Zabu's here, and I'm not sure what to do anyway. We're a local guild, so, I mean, why haven't we met already? Vork is like cooking making a BLT on like a plug-in skillet. We could all use some time away from the keyboard. Clara, when's the last time you went out with anybody other than your kids? Yeah, let's do brunch. I love pancakes. And I say, okay, well, yeah, we got to come up with a plan to deal with Blades anyway. And also, like, I don't want, Vork says. And then Codex knows him, so she goes, why don't you draft an agenda? That would be helpful. Tink, no way. She goes, I prefer know you anonymously. And Codex says, I'll pay you 50 in-game gold. She says, we need to meet tomorrow, though. Forming a socially approved support system. And the Vork says, somewhere with a low price point. I didn't budget for social activities. And all right, the guild's going to meet. Zabu appears with a wizard hat on and talks about his dexterity. And Prefects is, he spends a lot of time trying to be like, is a really good character. And that episode comes to a close. And next up was Delicate. After that was Zabu and his joking around. This episode's 5 minutes long. He didn't have a shirt on, but I had to tell him the parameters. No shirt, no shoes, no service. Or maybe I reacted in a different way. I don't know. Okay, it's time for us to go to the meeting. And then Zabu can head home, wherever that is. Hopefully we could do this without, too much stress. Then she stares at the camera. Really great pause. Then we have the opening sequence. And we see all the characters. Scroll by them, zoom out. Music's playing in the background, the guild. Then we see Kodak, like a green Honda Civic. Even that's a good great detail, even if it was one of their cars, and they're parking somewhere. Seems like LA. And Zabu's talking about something, and she says, I like to get everywhere a half hour early. He goes, why? And then we see Codex, Clara, oh, hi, big hugs. They all hug Zabu. And she says, do you recognize my voice? And she said, no. Zabu, this is when there was just flip phones. He puts on lip balm, nice use of lip balm. They head towards the restaurant. Blades isn't coming. Vork didn't want to invite him. Got to firewall our priorities. Zabu runs down the street saying, Zabu. And then they go to the restaurant. Cheese something. Cheesy Beards. You ready to be seated? Cheesy Beards. To air is to human. Something else. We're just meeting people first. And there's a specials board. And Vork's sitting there, already seated. And Tinkerbell is playing a Nintendo DS and ignoring them. I haven't decided if I'm going to hang out with you guys or not yet, so don't talk to me yet. Whereas Vork, what's his character's name? He's a dancer, so metalworking skills in real life, Zabu. I don't know what he does in real life. And he's like, I just had to disagree with you, Codex. That's good. That's good for our relationship. Say, what about that guy over there? Never thought Vork would be in a suit. He's so confident on the mic. He doesn't look super confident at this moment. All right, so we get the entry into the thing, a little more character interaction. Vork is talking into a tape recorder about the game, I think. Do you think that's really him? Yeah, it is. Tinkerballa. Vork Codex. Sid, that's not short for anything. Greetings, guildies. I'm Herman, but you call me Vork. I'll respond to it better. And she's like, okay, wait, you look different than I expected, too. This is Zabu. More introductions, basically. And Clara's avatar and her real name are the same. Tried an alias, but it was Mominatrix, and my kids started saying it, so I had to change it. And Tinkerball says, that's my real name, too. And they go, really? Okay, well, I have the agendas. It's It's great that we spent 6 hours a day together and we finally meet faces to voices. I mean, this is something with podcasting too, where it's like, wait a second, you're a human? That's what you look like? So, okay, there's a lot of good awkward moments, and like they don't know how to talk to each other. So then they start talking about the game again, like epic items, and that episode comes to a close. And we're at episode 5. Rather be dancing. The guild helped me talk to Zabu, and they say we're just friends, so pack up your stuff and go. But then she's only talking to the camera. She's not being honest. Because then he comes in and he's like, I'm making dinner with oven mitts. She says, okay, bye. She goes, yeah, I was lying to my webcam for my diary. That's like a real highlight of the acting, I think. So, okay, so then we see the opening, says the guild. Then we're back to the restaurant. Everyone's ordering, talking about kind of their backstories. They're now in booths and their jobs, which may or may not be true. Tinkerballa kind of talks about a job, which sounds a little bit like the plot to a TV show that was out at the time. Oh, what a coincidence. Vork, oh, well, my character's a metal. What about you? She goes, I'm a violinist. I was a child prodigy. Prodigy? No, I'm not. No, but really, what do you do in real life? And he goes, right now, not much. This is my grandfather's suit. I live in my grandfather's house. And maybe I still live on his income. And Vork kind of like just again, Zabu and I. So anyway, they go back and forth. And all right, this is like fun. Like we're gonna, this is our friendship now. Okay. And then Kodak says, Zabu, could you go get my sweater from my car? He goes, oh, a quest. Okay. I'll do it. And then she makes this big fake smile and she says, by the way, he just showed up at my place. And I said, well, I thought you two liked each other. It seemed like that way online. Everyone else thinks that. And she's like, it's just a semicolon. Can you help me to explain to me? Then we just see, there's just a great comedy. You got to watch it to see some of the comedy and the writing about saving money. 12 into $2.95. Deli Deluxe slices 24.5 cents. Bringing your cheese saves 75.5 cents. And you can pay me accordingly. So they're just joking. Cheese. Forget the cheese. Cut the cheese out. Laughing. Okay, listen, how do I get Zabu to understand? He's already back. Your cloak, milady, plus 15 to frost. Thought of that joke on the way over. Okay, then Vork's like, this is enough socialization. I've got a collated agenda. Blaze is a founding member, but his attendance is an attitude less than stellar. And what are we going to do? Well, he doesn't behave. Claire's right in theory. And then Blades shows up, and Zabu knows him. And Blades is trying to be like smooth, but he comes across as like not cool. And says, yeah, I saw the Cheesy Beard's meeting to discuss Blades. I saw the post. You going to kick me out of the thing? Okay. After all the hours I put in. And it wasn't just about you. It was about getting to know each other. He goes, oh, well, so you left me out. And they said, we got your back, Blades. And he goes, well, the entire guild bank is transferred to my character, so I have all the guild gold, the guild equipment, and see you later. Then we find out Blade's is like younger sibling is like, get moving, Dad's waiting for you in the car. Are these your internet friends? And he says to her, you ruined my exit, Dina. So maybe he's even middle school age. I don't even know. They're like, why did you transfer the guild bank to Blades, Vork? And that's a great move. Now we're really in trouble. He goes, in Management 2.0, you trust all your widgets. And he says, clear blue ocean, which I guess is like one of his things. Tried to strengthen the weakest chain to strengthen us as a whole. So Blade says everything, the gold, the loot, 6 months of material. Can't believe this. Why did you let him drive the bus? And talk and get a little more stuff about the characters. And that episode ends. So I guess what I'll do is we'll cover episode 6, and then we'll go from 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then I don't know if we'll start in the next episode, maybe go into season 2. Okay, so this one, again, we have Codex, Zabu. Maybe I should check my spam folder. And just email somebody that spams me. Can you help me with the warlock on my couch? And then we have the opening sequence. See all the characters that now we've gotten to know better. By this time, you're definitely looking forward to hearing the music. And then the Codex and Zabu come in. I can't believe this with Blaze. But Tink and Blades are closer. Maybe she could talk to him. And again, there's still miscommunication on their friendship. She goes, you know what? You got to leave. He goes, how are we going to form a codependency together? And she goes, look, I was just broke up with somebody. So, and he goes, oh, that cello guy, right? You were celloed him. And she goes, I don't want to talk about it. And she was like, yeah, that was the first chair. Oboist, Gunther, and oboed. I don't know. Maybe video game. Maybe this is all me because of video games, but playing too many video games. Then they actually hug because she's like, for a second, like, man. But then she says, okay, you got to go back to wherever you live. This is my place. And he goes, okay, done. And he goes, I'll go pack my stuff. And I get it. He's a little down. And she goes, yeah. I mean, I still like you as a friend, but his suitcase is a little different. But he goes, okay, sorry about that. Take my picture, take my suitcase, and I'm going to hit the road. And then they're back, working as a thing, talking about keeping the loot. Is that how you run the guild now? Hey, Codex is like, hey, come on, everybody's arguing. Okay, we need you and Zabu. Well, Zabu can't log on right now. And okay, we gotta make things happen faster. And we gotta get Blades back too. And we gotta open up negotiations for the guild bank, so I don't leave the house. But Zabu's upset, and no nanny for Clara. Somebody's IMing me. That used to be a thing, like a group chat. Come on, too many gnomes. But I'm a gnome. And I don't see a note. Her kids are playing with the notes. So, yeah, we're going back and forth, more and more. Belle and Gabby are two of the kids, Ham and Crayons, and no one cares about. So there's like a lot of back and forth. I got to get a nanny. So that's Clara's need right now. And Tink's like, here, why don't you just hire somebody? And Vork says, the nannies earn between $8 and $12 an hour. I could be a nanny for a comparable price. And then Tink's competitive, so she goes, I'll do it. Kodak's like, you're not very maternal. And they say, well, we got to figure out blades. Vork's like, I need that money. I spent all that money on cheesy beards, 1087, and know that number well. Well, Vork, Tink says, yeah, but I'm come on. So then Kodak goes, there's a knock at the door, and then there's a woman at the door. She says, where's my son? I know he's in here. I tracked his GPS. I thought he took the bus. And then Zabu goes, Mom, what are you doing here? Kodak and I are in love. And the mom has a very serious look on her face, and the episode comes to a close. And so we will get back to season 1 of The Guild soon. Good night, everybody. All right, I want to thank everybody who recently joined Sleep With Me Plus or moved over from Patreon. Sam, Allison, and John, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Robert, Andrea, and Laura, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Christy, Emily, and Audrey, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Adam, Aaron, and Christina, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Allison, Jenny, and Luce, thanks, and good night. Rebecca, Daphne, and Cameron, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Jake and Tamara and Simon, thank you. Thanks, and good night. James, Jonathan, and Mary, thanks, and good night. Monica, Daniel, and Amanda, thank you. Thanks, and good night. And Krista, Paul, and Erica, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Thanks for everybody who supports the show directly on Apple Podcasts or through other means. Couldn't do without you. Really appreciate the support. And, those of you who support our sponsors or support the show by spreading the word or support the show in the past, I really appreciate it. It enables us to talk all these people in who are already sweet tucked in. And here might be future Scoots or past Scoots talking about weekend review or something else. Thanks and good night, everybody. All right, everybody, this is Scoots here. It's time to talk about Helix Sleep. It's time for you to get a new mattress. It's time for you to take the quiz at helixsleep.com/sleep and to finally get a mattress that's designed for you and the way you sleep. And I don't know if you knew this, but Helix supports military, first responders, teachers, and students by giving them special discount on site. Unlike a lot of mattress companies out there, Helix owns its own manufacturing facility, so each and every Helix mattress is made by a team of skilled manufacturers and shipped directly from their facility to your door. And you should never have to compromise on comfort. Helix has mattresses with cooling technology that helps regulate your body temperature, whatever the season. Because I don't know if there's anything worse than going to a mattress store, laying down on a mattress hundreds of people tried before you, while that overeager sales associate asks you a bunch of questions, paces back and forth. Definitely nothing worse than that. But you can order a Helix mattress online and receive easy no-contact delivery. And you don't have to be nervous about buying it online because the Helix quiz takes into account your individual sleep preferences to match you or you and your partner to the perfect mattress. And if you don't want to take my word for it, Helix has over 12,000 five-star reviews. By supporting Helix, you're supporting Sleep With Me and your sleep, and then you get a great new mattress to sleep on, too. So go purchase your Helix and thank me later for your best night's sleep. And Helix knows everyone's unique. They even have plus-size mattresses for big and tall sleepers and ones for little ones. Kids' mattresses specifically designed with them in mind, designed for children 3 to 12 years old. Awarded the best mattress winner by Parents Magazine. And you know, you've heard me talk about my Helix Dusk Lux. I took the quiz. I sleep on my side. I sleep on my stomach. I sleep hot, so I love having those cooling features. And I've been away from my mattress for 3 weeks. I don't even know how many different beds I slept on over the past 3 weeks. So glad to be home. and get a good night's sleep in my Helix Dusk Luxe. So you take the quiz, find out which mattress you get matched with, and let me know about it. Plus, Helix is offering up to 30% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep. That's helixsleep.com/sleep. This is the best offer yet, and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now. Thanks, everybody.